What hides in the mysteries of your blood? Have you ever stopped to think that those discrete 2 letters on your medical card, your blood type, carry profound meanings that can reveal hidden aspects of your personality? Carl Jung, the pioneer of analytical psychology, taught us that the most powerful symbols are often hidden in the simplest, most ordinary things. What if your blood type was more than just a medical classification? What if it were a window into your collective unconscious, revealing your most primordial instincts, behavioral tendencies, and even your destiny? Prepare yourself for a fascinating journey where science meets mysticism, where the droplets of blood flowing through your veins unveil secrets about who you really are. Your blood speaks. Are you ready to listen? The Blood Code. How Jung connected biology and psyche. Have you ever felt that instant connection with certain people, or that feeling that something about you is deeply different from others? What if we've been carrying a secret code in our veins all along? Welcome to the fascinating world where your blood can reveal much more than your health. It can unravel the mysteries of your personality. Although Carl Jung never spoke directly about blood types, he was a master at connecting our physical bodies with our deep minds. Jung believed that we all share a collective unconscious, a kind of universal mental library full of powerful symbols he called archetypes. These are like internal characters we all have: the hero, the sage, the rebel, among others. Blood has always been a powerful symbol in cultures around the world. Blood of my blood, blue blood, hot-blooded. We use these expressions all the time. Jung loved symbols like these and saw in them doorways to our deep psyche. Meanwhile, across the world in Japan, something fascinating was happening. There, people developed the idea that your blood type, A, B, or O, could reveal aspects of your personality. This theory, called Ketsueki Gata, became so popular that even today, Japanese dating shows ask, "What's your blood type?" This is where the magic happens. We can use Jung's profound ideas about archetypes and apply them to understand what your blood type might reveal about you. It's like discovering a hidden map to your inner world. Think about it. The substance that gives you life, flowing through every part of your body, might also carry patterns that shape your personality, your strengths, and even your challenges. Jung always believed that understanding our deeper patterns was the key to becoming our true selves, what he called individuation. By exploring your blood type through Jung's lens, you're not just learning fun facts, you're taking a step toward truly knowing yourself. What's especially exciting is how this connects to relationships. Have you ever wondered why you click instantly with some people while others just drain your energy? Blood type compatibility might offer clues to these mysterious connections. Ancient wisdom often contains profound truths disguised as simple ideas. When we look at blood types through Jung's perspective, we're bringing together ancient symbolism, modern psychology, and biological reality into one powerful framework for self-discovery. Your blood type isn't just about who can donate to whom. It might be a window into your soul's unique blueprint. It doesn't limit who you can become, but rather illuminates the path that might feel most natural to you. So next time someone asks about your blood type, smile knowingly. You understand now that those simple letters, A, B, or O, might be carrying centuries of wisdom about what makes you uniquely you. In the coming sections, we'll dive deeply into each blood type and reveal what Jung's archetypes can tell us about your personality, relationships, challenges, and gifts. Get ready to see yourself and everyone around you in an entirely new light. Type A. The meticulous architects of society. What does it mean to be a Type A in the world of blood archetypes? According to Jung's framework, if your veins carry Type A blood, you might be a living embodiment of what he would call the perfectionist or sage archetype, perhaps the most structured and methodical of all the blood types. People with Type A blood often exhibit an innate sense of order and planning that would fascinate Jung. There's something almost architectural about your approach to life, building systems, creating structures, and designing paths forward with careful precision. Where others see chaos, you see patterns waiting to be organized. Jung believed that each of us carries ancient patterns of behavior in our collective unconscious. For Type A individuals, these patterns often manifest as a deep need for harmony and careful organization. Think about it. Do you find yourself straightening objects that are out of place? Do you feel a sense of deep satisfaction when everything is in its proper order? This isn't just a quirk, it's a profound archetypal expression. The Japanese Ketsuekigata theory describes Type A individuals as responsible, earnest, and methodical, traits that align perfectly with Jung's understanding of the perfectionist archetype. This isn't coincidence, but rather different cultures, tapping into the same universal patterns of human behavior. If you're Type A, you likely have a rich inner world, a trait Jung would attribute to your natural introversion. You may prefer to think carefully before speaking and value depth over breadth in conversations. This reflective nature makes you an excellent listener and gives you an almost uncanny ability to understand complex systems and ideas. Your natural attention to detail would be what Jung might call your dominant function, that special gift that makes you uniquely qualified to spot inconsistencies and refine processes. Where others might rush through tasks haphazardly, you bring a careful, methodical approach that ensures quality and excellence. The sage archetype that resonates with Type A is about wisdom gained through careful observation and reflection. You tend to gather knowledge systematically, building comprehensive understanding rather than collecting random facts. This makes you not just knowledgeable, but truly wise, able to see connections that others miss. Jung would be particularly interested in how Type A individuals navigate their emotions. You might process feelings internally before expressing them, preferring to understand your emotional landscape fully before sharing it with others. This isn't coldness, it's thoughtfulness, a desire to respond rather than react. In your relationships, the Type A archetypal pattern often manifests as loyalty and commitment. Once you've decided someone is worthy of your trust, you typically invest deeply in that relationship. You would see this as a manifestation of your integrated approach to life. The same thoroughness you bring to work projects also appears in how you build and maintain relationships. However, Jung would remind us that every archetypal strength has its shadow side. For Type A individuals, the shadow often manifests as perfectionism that can become paralyzing, or an anxiety that stems from the need for control in an unpredictable world. Jung believed that acknowledging these shadow aspects is essential for psychological wholeness. The Type A tendency towards self-criticism might be what Jung would call an introversion of the judging function, an inward-directed assessment. That can be both a gift and a challenge. When balanced, it drives you toward excellence. When imbalanced, it can become a harsh inner critic that never lets you rest. In the workplace, Type A individuals often excel in roles requiring precision, planning, and attention to detail. Jung would see this as the natural expression of your dominant psychological functions. Whether you're a researcher, editor, accountant, or surgeon, your innate meticulousness serves you well. You're the person others trust to get things exactly right, a responsibility you take seriously. Your careful approach to decision-making reflects what Jung might call your thinking function, a logical, systematic assessment of options before choosing a path forward. While this can sometimes look like indecision to more impulsive types, it's actually a thoroughness that ultimately leads to better outcomes. Type A individuals often experience a fascinating dual nature regarding rules and traditions. On one hand, you appreciate structure and clear guidelines. On the other hand, you may question rules that don't make logical sense. Jung would see this as the healthy tension between your dominant and auxiliary functions, your need for order. Balanced with your analytical thinking, the concept of less is more often resonates with Type A personalities. You tend to prefer quality over quantity in almost everything, from possessions to relationships to experiences. Jung might attribute this to your natural introversion and your focus on depth rather than breadth. For Type A individuals, stress often manifests when order breaks down or when perfection seems unattainable. Jung would recognize this as the activation of your inferior function, the part of your personality that's least developed and most reactive. Learning to embrace imperfection might be one of your most important growth areas. Jung believed that the path to psychological wholeness, what he called individuation, requires integrating all aspects of the self, including those that feel uncomfortable or foreign. For Type A individuals, this often means embracing spontaneity, accepting imperfection, and learning to let go of control sometimes. Many Type A individuals report a fascinating phenomenon. They become more balanced and relaxed with age. Jung would see this as the natural development of your personality over time, as your less dominant functions gradually become more integrated and accessible. Your need for meaningful work isn't just a preference. It's an archetypal expression of your desire to create order from chaos. Jung would recognize this as part of your individuation journey, the need to express your unique gifts in service to something larger than yourself. One of the most beautiful aspects of the Type A pattern is your capacity for creating systems that benefit others. Whether it's organizing a family event, streamlining a work process, or creating a budget that actually works, your gifts often extend beyond yourself to improve the lives of those around you. Jung would remind you that your blood type doesn't determine your destiny. It simply suggests archetypal patterns that might feel more natural to you. The true path of individuation involves both honoring these natural tendencies and transcending them when necessary, finding the balance between structure and spontaneity that allows your full humanity to flourish. Remember, in the Jungian perspective, the goal isn't to fit perfectly into a type, it's to become your complete, authentic self. Your Type A blood might whisper certain tendencies, but your conscious choices ultimately write the story of who you become. Type B, the intuitive explorers of the unknown. What mysteries lie in the blood of those carrying Type B? According to our Jungian interpretation, if you're among the relatively rare individuals with Type B blood, you may embody what Jung would recognize as the explorer or rebel archetype, perhaps the most independent and adaptable of the blood groups. Unlike the structured approach of Type A, Type B individuals often move through life with a remarkable fluidity that would have fascinated Jung. There's something almost mercurial about your nature, able to adapt to changing circumstances, with an ease that others might envy. Where others see fixed boundaries, you see possibilities and unexplored territories. Jung believed that archetypes represent universal patterns of behavior that transcend cultural boundaries. For Type B individuals, these patterns often manifest as a natural curiosity and openness to experience. Do you find yourself drawn to new ideas, places, and experiences? Do you feel most alive when discovering something novel? This isn't mere restlessness. It's a profound archetypal drive toward exploration. The Japanese Ketsuekigata theory characterizes Type B individuals as creative, passionate, and independent, qualities that align beautifully with Jung's understanding of the explorer archetype. This cross-cultural agreement points to something fundamental about Type B energy that seems to be recognized across different symbolic systems. If you're Type B, you likely possess a natural versatility, what Jung might call a well-developed, extroverted sensing function. You can shift gears quickly, adapting to new environments and situations with remarkable ease. This adaptability isn't flakiness. It's a gift that allows you to thrive in our ever-changing world. Your ability to think outside conventional boundaries would impress Jung, who valued creative approaches to problems. Where others might follow established paths, you're likely to forge your own way, guided by an inner compass that points toward authentic experience rather than social expectations. The creative energy that seems to flow naturally in Type B individuals connects with what Jung called the transcendent function, the psyche's ability to create new solutions by bringing together opposing ideas. Your mind naturally makes connections between seemingly unrelated concepts, giving you an edge in creative problem-solving. Jung would be particularly interested in the Type B relationship with rules and structure. You tend to see rules as guidelines, rather than absolute commandments, evaluating each situation on its own merits, rather than applying rigid principles. This flexibility can sometimes look like rebellion to more conventional types, but it's actually a more contextual approach to ethics. In relationships, Type B individuals often bring a refreshing honesty and authenticity. Jung might see this as the healthy expression of your feeling function, an ability to know what you value and to express it directly without excessive filtering. This straightforwardness can be both challenging and refreshing for those around you. The explorer archetype that resonates with Type B is about freedom and discovery, venturing into unknown territory and bringing back valuable insights. You're drawn to the edges of maps, both literal and metaphorical, curious about what lies beyond the familiar. However, Jung would remind us that every archetypal strength carries its shadow. For Type B individuals, the shadow often appears as restlessness that can interfere with completing long-term projects, or as a resistance to commitment that can impact relationships. Jung believed that recognizing these shadow aspects is crucial for achieving psychological wholeness. The Type B tendency toward independence might be what Jung would call an extraversion of the intuitive function, an outward-directed exploration that can be both a tremendous gift and a challenge. When balanced, it leads to innovation and discovery. When imbalanced, it can become a constant search for novelty that never allows for depth. In professional settings, Type B individuals often excel in roles requiring creative thinking, adaptability, and the ability to work with diverse people and ideas. Jung would see this as the natural expression of your dominant psychological functions. Whether you're an entrepreneur, artist, journalist, or counselor, your natural versatility and people skills serve you well. Your approach to decision-making reflects what Jung might call your intuitive function, a holistic assessment that considers multiple possibilities before committing to action. While this can sometimes appear as indecisiveness to more structured types, it's actually a thoroughness that allows you to see options others might miss. Type B individuals often experience a fascinating relationship with time. You may have an almost uncanny ability to be fully present in the moment, engaging completely with whatever is happening now. Jung might see this as a healthy expression of your sensing function, an ability to fully experience reality without being overly distracted by past or future. The concept of go with the flow often resonates deeply with Type B personalities. You tend to trust in the natural unfolding of events rather than trying to control every outcome. Jung might attribute this to your well-developed intuition and your comfort with uncertainty. For Type B individuals, stress often manifests when you feel trapped in rigid structures or monotonous routines. Jung would recognize this as the activation of your inferior function, the part of your personality that's least developed and most reactive. Learning to balance freedom with commitment might be one of your most important growth areas. Jung believed that psychological wholeness requires integrating all aspects of the self, including those that feel less natural or comfortable. For Type B individuals, this often means developing some structure and consistency while maintaining your essential spontaneity and adaptability. Many Type B individuals report developing a greater appreciation for routine and planning as they mature. Jung would see this as the natural development of your personality over time, as your less dominant functions gradually become more integrated and accessible. Your need for meaningful freedom isn't just a preference, it's an archetypal expression of your desire to explore the full range of human experience. Jung would recognize this as part of your individuation journey, the need to express your unique gifts without unnecessary constraints. One of the most valuable aspects of the Type B pattern is your ability to bridge different worlds and perspectives. Whether connecting different social groups, synthesizing diverse ideas, or adapting ancient wisdom to modern contexts, your gifts often create valuable connections that benefit everyone around you. Jung would emphasize that your blood type doesn't determine your destiny. It simply suggests archetypal patterns that might feel more natural to you. The path of individuation involves both honoring these natural tendencies and developing complementary qualities, finding the balance between freedom and structure that allows your complete humanity to flourish. Remember, in the Jungian perspective, the goal isn't to embody a type perfectly, it's to become your whole, authentic self. Your Type B blood might whisper certain tendencies, but your conscious choices ultimately write the story of who you become. Type AB, the enigmatic carriers of duality. What hidden depths exist within those who carry Type AB? Blood. In our Jungian interpretation, if you're among the rarest blood type in the world, just about 4% of the global population, you may embody what Jung would recognize as the diplomat or mediator archetype, perhaps the most naturally complex and multifaceted of all the blood groups. Type AB is fascinating from both biological and symbolic perspectives. It's the only blood type that contains both A and B antigens, a physical manifestation of duality. Jung would have been captivated by this biological union of opposites, as it perfectly mirrors his concept of the conjunctio oppositorum, the integration of opposing forces that he saw as essential to psychological wholeness. Jung believed that we all contain multiplicities within us, but for type AB individuals, this multiplicity seems to be written directly into your blood. Do you sometimes feel like you contain different personas that emerge in different situations? Do you find yourself understanding multiple perspectives with unusual ease? This isn't inconsistency. It's a profound archetypal expression of integration. The Japanese Ketsueki-gata theory describes type AB individuals as thoughtful, enigmatic, and complex, traits that align remarkably with Jung's understanding of the mediator archetype. This characterization across different cultural frameworks suggests something fundamental about the AB energy that transcends specific belief systems. If you're type AB, you likely possess a natural ability to see multiple sides of any situation. What Jung might call a well-developed perceiving function. You can hold opposing viewpoints in mind simultaneously, without immediately needing to choose one over the other. This cognitive flexibility isn't indecisiveness. It's a sophisticated form of thinking that recognizes the validity in seemingly contradictory perspectives. Your ability to adapt to different social environments would intrigue Jung, who was fascinated by the human capacity for psychological flexibility. Where others might present a consistent persona across all contexts, you might shift subtly, depending on the situation, not as a form of inauthenticity, but as a natural response to different environments. The creative problem-solving that often comes naturally to type AB individuals connects with what Jung called active imagination, the mind's ability to play with possibilities and generate novel solutions. Your thinking tends to be less linear and more associative, making unexpected connections that others might miss. Jung would be particularly interested in the type AB relationship with identity. You might have experienced a lifelong sense of being somewhat difficult to categorize or define, not fitting neatly into boxes that others seem to occupy comfortably. This liminal quality can sometimes feel challenging, but is actually a gift that allows you to bridge different worlds. In relationships, type AB individuals often bring remarkable empathy and understanding. Jung might see this as a healthy expression of your feeling function, an ability to tune into others' emotional states and respond with sensitivity. This empathic capacity makes you a valued friend and partner, though it can sometimes leave you absorbing others' emotions too readily. The mediator archetype that resonates with type AB is about bridging differences and finding common ground where others see only opposition. You're often the person who can translate between different viewpoints, helping people understand perspectives they might otherwise dismiss. However, Jung would remind us that every archetypal strength has its shadow. For type AB individuals, the shadow often appears as inner contradiction that can lead to decision paralysis, or a chameleon-like adaptability that might obscure your authentic core. Jung believed that recognizing these shadow aspects is essential for achieving psychological integration. The type AB tendency toward complexity might be what Jung would call an introversion of the intuitive function, an inward-directed exploration of possibilities that can be both a tremendous gift and a challenge. When balanced, it leads to profound insights and creativity. When imbalanced, it can become an overthinking that never reaches conclusion. In professional environments, type AB individuals often excel in roles requiring diplomacy, communication across differences, and the ability to synthesize diverse ideas. Jung would see this as the natural expression of your dominant psychological functions, whether you're in conflict resolution, creative fields, counseling, or cultural interpretation. Your natural complexity and adaptability serve you well. Your approach to decision-making reflects what Jung might call your intuitive feeling axis, a process that considers both possibilities and values before determining a course of action. While this can sometimes appear as complexity to more straightforward types, it's actually a thoroughness that leads to more nuanced and sustainable choices. Type AB individuals often experience a fascinating relationship with boundaries. You may find it easier than most to move between different social worlds, professional domains, or cultural contexts. Jung might see this as a healthy expression of your flexible ego boundaries, an ability to expand your sense of self to include diverse experiences. The concept of both and, rather than either-or thinking, often resonates deeply with type AB personalities. You tend to resist false dichotomies, seeing the truth that often lies in the integration of seemingly opposing perspectives. Jung might attribute this to your natural affinity for his concept of transcending opposites. For type AB individuals, stress often manifests when forced to reduce complex situations to simple answers, or when navigating environments that demand rigid consistency. Jung would recognize this as the activation of your inferior function, the part of your personality that's least developed and most reactive. Learning to embrace your natural complexity while still making clear decisions might be one of your most important growth areas. Jung believed that psychological wholeness requires embracing all aspects of the self, including those that seem contradictory. For type AB individuals, who naturally embody contradiction in your very blood, the path may be less about integration of opposites, which comes somewhat naturally, and more about finding your authentic core amidst the multiplicity. Many type AB individuals report developing greater decisiveness and clarity of purpose as they mature. Jung would see this as the natural development of your personality over time, as your less dominant functions gradually become more integrated and accessible. Your need for meaningful connection across differences isn't just a preference. It's an archetypal expression of your desire to heal divisions and create wholeness. Jung would recognize this as part of your individuation journey, the need to express your unique gifts in bringing together what others see as separate. One of the most valuable aspects of the type AB pattern is your ability to hold paradox without needing to resolve it prematurely. In a world that often seeks simple answers to complex questions, your comfort with ambiguity and nuance is increasingly precious. Jung would emphasize that your blood type doesn't determine your destiny. It simply suggests archetypal patterns that might feel more natural to you. The true path of individuation involves both honoring these natural tendencies and developing greater clarity about your core values and identity. Remember, in the Jungian perspective, the goal isn't to resolve all inner contradictions. It's to embrace them as part of your complete self. Your type AB blood might whisper tendencies toward complexity and integration, but your conscious choices ultimately write the story of who you become. Type O, the primordial warriors. of the collective unconscious, what ancient power flows in the veins of those with type O blood. According to our Jungian framework, if you're among the most common blood type worldwide, roughly 45% of the global population, you may embody what Jung would recognize as the warrior or hero archetype, perhaps the most primal and instinctually powerful of all the blood groups. Type O is fascinating from both evolutionary and symbolic perspectives. It's considered the original human blood type from which the others evolved, a biological connection to our most ancient ancestors. Jung would have been intrigued by this primordial quality, as it connects directly to his concept of the collective unconscious. Those deepest layers of psyche that link us to our evolutionary past. Jung believed that we all carry the imprints of our species' history within us, but for type O individuals, this connection to the ancestral past seems especially strong. Do you sometimes feel a powerful instinctual certainty in situations where others hesitate? Do you find yourself naturally taking action when others are still deliberating? This isn't impulsiveness. It's a profound archetypal expression of the warrior energy. The Japanese Ketsueki-gata theory describes type O individuals as confident, resilient, and natural leaders. Qualities that align remarkably with Jung's understanding of the hero archetype. This characterization across different cultural systems points to something fundamental about type O energy that transcends specific cultural frameworks. If you're type O, you likely possess a natural decisiveness, what Jung might call a well-developed judging function. You can assess situations quickly and move to action without excessive deliberation. This decisiveness isn't recklessness. It's a gift that allows you to respond effectively when circumstances demand immediate action. Your ability to stay focused on goals despite obstacles would impress Jung, who valued perseverance and resilience. Where others might become discouraged and change direction, you're more likely to press forward, guided by an inner determination that pushes through challenges, rather than avoiding them. The natural leadership that often emerges from type O individuals connects with what Jung called the archetypal hero, the aspect of psyche that confronts challenges directly and inspires others to follow. Your energy tends to be more direct and assertive, making you someone others often turn to in times of difficulty. Jung would be particularly interested in the type O relationship with the physical world. You might have a strong connection to your body, physical activities, and the natural environment, a grounded quality that keeps you connected to the here and now. This embodied awareness reflects Jung's understanding of the importance of connecting mind and body. In relationships, type O individuals often bring clarity and straightforwardness. Jung might see this as a healthy expression of your thinking-sensing axis, an ability to know what you want and to express it directly without excessive complication. This clarity can be both challenging and refreshing for those around you. The warrior archetype that resonates with type O is about protection, courage, and direct action, facing life's battles with strength and determination. You're often the person who takes on challenges that others avoid, with a natural confidence in your ability to overcome obstacles. However, Jung would remind us that every archetypal strength carries its shadow. For type O individuals, the shadow often appears as stubbornness that can resist necessary change, or as an aggression that might emerge when frustrated. Jung believed that recognizing these shadow aspects is crucial for achieving psychological balance. The type O tendency toward action might be what Jung would call an extroversion of the sensing function, an outward-directed engagement with the tangible world that can be both a tremendous gift and a challenge. When balanced, it leads to effective action and practical results. When imbalanced, it can become an impatience that misses important subtleties. In professional contexts, Type O individuals often excel in roles requiring leadership, crisis management, and the ability to maintain focus under pressure. Jung would see this as the natural expression of your dominant psychological functions. Whether you're in emergency services, sports, business leadership, or advocacy, your natural decisiveness and resilience serve you well. Your approach to problem-solving reflects what Jung might call your sensing-thinking axis, a process that quickly assesses concrete realities before determining the most effective response. While this can sometimes appear as oversimplification to more nuanced types, it's actually an efficiency that allows for timely action when needed. Type O. Individuals often experience a fascinating relationship with tradition and innovation. You may respect established practices while still being willing to change course when something clearly isn't working. Jung might see this as a healthy balance between your connection to collective wisdom and your pragmatic assessment of current realities. The concept of just do it often resonates deeply with Type O personalities. You tend to trust in action over excessive analysis, believing that movement creates clarity. Jung might attribute this to your natural connection with the body's wisdom and your comfort with direct engagement. For Type O individuals, stress often manifests when trapped in situations requiring prolonged inaction or excessive complexity before decisions can be made. Jung would recognize this as the activation of your inferior function, the part of your personality that's least developed and most reactive. Learning to balance action with reflection might be one of your most important growth areas. Jung believed that psychological wholeness requires integrating all aspects of the self, including those that feel less natural or comfortable. For Type O individuals, this often means developing greater comfort with ambiguity and complexity while maintaining your essential decisiveness and clarity. Many Type O individuals report developing greater patience and nuance in their thinking. As they mature, Jung would see this as the natural development of your personality over time, as your less dominant functions gradually become more integrated and accessible. Your need for meaningful challenges isn't just a preference, it's an archetypal expression of your desire to test your capabilities and grow through overcoming obstacles. Jung would recognize this as part of your individuation journey, the need to express your warrior spirit in ways that contribute to collective well-being. One of the most valuable aspects of the Type O pattern is your ability to mobilize energy and inspire others when action is needed. In a world often paralyzed by complexity and indecision, your gift for cutting through confusion and moving forward is increasingly precious. Jung would emphasize that your blood type doesn't determine your destiny. It simply suggests archetypal patterns that might feel more natural to you. The true path of individuation involves both honoring these natural tendencies and developing complementary qualities, finding the balance between action and reflection that allows your complete humanity to flourish. Remember, in the Jungian perspective, the goal isn't to embody a type perfectly, it's to become your whole, authentic self. Your Type O blood might whisper tendencies toward directness and action, but your conscious choices ultimately write the story of who you become. Your blood carries not just oxygen to your cells, but perhaps the whispers of your deepest nature. What if the path to becoming who you truly are has been flowing through your veins all along? As Jung would remind us, the symbols that matter most are often hidden in plain sight. The next time you feel that inexplicable pull towards certain behaviors or patterns, listen closely. It might not just be your conscious mind speaking, but the ancient archetypal wisdom encoded in your very blood, guiding you toward the person you were always meant to become. Will you heed its call?